Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 518 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Welcome back to everyone. I know that there are so many podcasts and other things that you could be listening to right now, and I'm so honored that you chose this podcast. I love you guys for that. I hope you know it. So I read something cool the other day. It said, things may happen around you. Things may happen to you, but the things that really matter are the things that happen within you and through you. That is so true. We all have hard things that we deal with. We all have ups and downs. But the key is to just know that everything is going to be okay and that things are always working in our favor. As long as you know that and you keep that truth in your mind, no matter what you're dealing with, something good can come from it. Now, it doesn't mean that what's happening is good, but something good can come from it. Always remember that. So I went and visited a dear friend of mine recently. She started out as a client and we became just instant friends almost immediately as I walked through the door. Even though she's much older than I am, we both have a love of beautiful things and interesting things and growth, self-improvement, and just general kind of curiosity about life and human nature. So a few years ago, we totally redid her home and it is just absolutely stunning. Now, she taught me a lot too, because the main thing she taught me was that I can actually work with people who love color. Even though I'm more of an earthy, neutral kind of girl, she absolutely loves color and we worked really well together. Anyway, when she called, she said, to my great surprise, really, that she was ready to just redo everything. It was hard for me to believe because it has not been that long. Usually they say every 8 years you're ready to change everything in your house, but it hasn't been 8 years, not even close. So I said, okay, I'm going to come see you and see what's going on. So I go and visit, and as I knew it would, her home still looked gorgeous, but there was a definite change since I'd been there before. And I felt like as I walked in, I knew exactly what was going on for her. So as we were catching up, I asked, so what is it that you think you want to change? She said, well, I feel like it's heavy and I want it to be light. Which I get that. And as we talked, I asked her about several different pieces and she said, oh no, I still love that. And then I mentioned something else. She was like, no, I still love that. No, I want to keep that just like it is. She said that about just about everything that I mentioned, which led me to believe that I was right about what needed to be different. She still loves so much of it, which is why she couldn't put her finger on the problem of what was weighing it down. Now, ultimately, after talking for a while, we both realized that she really didn't need to add anything really. I mean, we could change a few things up. The sofa was easily changed and we could change a fabric on her banquette. But what she really needed was she needed to remove. She and her husband are like Eric and me. We read a lot. So there were lots of books stacked around, like a lot of books everywhere. She had all these bookshelves, which were great, but the books had swelled to the point to where there were stacks of books laying around. Now, she had also recently sold her vacation home and had brought plants to this house that did not handle the move so well, if I can just put it lightly. So those plants that once served her, they no longer did. So I delicately mentioned the books and the plants, to which she said, oh, I knew you were going to say that. That's exactly what my husband said. You see, she was simply hanging on to so many things and it was weighing her down completely. It did feel like it was heavy in there, but it was so easily remedied. I mean, ultimately, we decided that we're going to remove her drapes altogether. She never closes them, so that's an extra weight that she doesn't need, nor does she want. And those were great at one point. They served her at one point, but they don't anymore. And they were custom and they were expensive, but the cost to her now is even more because it's weighing on her. The plants that reminded her of her vacation home were almost dead and did the opposite of bringing her joy. They actually were making her kind of sad. I know I'm actually went through a feng shui certification course and it taught me that dead plants block positive energy because they represent decay and stagnation, which very negatively influences the energy in your home. So do not keep dead plants around. Now, the books that she was keeping, she said, I'm keeping them in case I want to read them again. But they were completely overwhelming her space, which made it feel disorganized and, heavy. I mean, books, which are actually a beautiful way to expand your mind, can do the opposite if they're stuffed everywhere. They're actually closing my friend off instead of expanding her mind. But we do this in our day-to-day life, don't we? I mean, we hang on to arguments and grudges. We hang on to things people have said or did to us that hurt, especially if it reinforced a negative thought we already had about ourselves. Those we never forget. But we do this sometimes without thinking about it, and then we wonder why we have a shopping problem or a drinking problem or an eating problem. We think we need to add something to feel better, when sometimes what we really need is to let go of. So much of our consuming is trying to fill a hole created by the thoughts that we can't seem to let go of. The thoughts about our weight, our wrinkles, our hair, the fight we had with our sister, not being good enough, not being pretty enough, that thing that mom said about us 30 years ago. Those things that hurt that you carry around and you can't seem to let go of. They're causing you more problems than you think. And adding alcohol and sugar or dopamine either makes them worse or just kicks the can down the road. I've noticed for me that if I'm feeling stressed or upset, I'll often want to eat something sweet. But then I end up feeling lethargic and chunky, which makes everything worse. Now, I don't need to add anything. I actually need to let go of the idea that there's something wrong with feeling stressed now and then. That's human. It's okay. We can actually feel stressed and survive and get on the other side of it. Or maybe I need to let go of the idea that my body and skin at 50 can't still be beautiful. I know it can be, because when I go sailing every year, which we'll do here in just a couple weeks, the friends that I go are older than me, like some by 10 years or so. And I think they're still so beautiful and their skin looks amazing and they're vibrant. So am I being hard on myself? Yes. And that's something that I need to let go of. My challenge to you today is to think of something you need to let go of that's maybe causing you problems in other areas without you knowing it. Maybe it's dead plants in your house, or stacked magazines and books, or other clutter. Or maybe it's a long-held belief about yourself that you've dragged around for long enough. It's weighing you down, so why not let it go? Share this with 3 beautiful friends. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.